Hi guys, and hi Vicky. Thanks for the requests. This video is going to be about how to draw a smoke butterfly or butterfly made out of smoke, which was a request from one of my subscribers. Thank you. It was a good challenge and I hope that I can teach you something in this video. So I'm gonna try to separate the whole thing in some steps so that it's more digestible. And I hope that I make it easy enough for you to copy out of it or make your own sort of version of it. And the first step that I'm doing is I am outlining the shape of the butterfly. Whatever kind of butterfly you want to make, just outline with a really thin line or not, just don't make it a thick line because you don't want to have those lines at the end because you don't want it to be harsh butterfly wing lines. You just want it to be smoked out. So try to make it as light as possible. And I'm using a HB pencil, which is really cheap and it's not a big deal. So if the pencil you have at home will work, if mine works. Now the second step is to look at a couple of pictures maybe. And if you look at realistic smoke on a picture, at least, it looks like there's chunks of smoke, first of all, coming outwards and upwards, of course. But in this case, the butterfly will just be random pieces of smoke, random chunks of smoke. But there's lines in there, and they're not parallel lines, but they're kind of working together. They're intertwining together. This is really hard for me to explain, and I was thinking how to say this, but um, it's really like the lines are inter intertwined in a way, like they're dancing, you know? Um, but just make some lines, and you don't need to make many lines in the beginning. You can always make more. Just make some random lines in there that work together, and try to make it asymmetrical too if you want to. I think that would add to a more realistic look. Eh, compared to if it was symmetrical, I think that would look less realistic. And the bottom wings um, have less lines on my drawing because I thought that it's nice if the top wings would be more heavy. Okay, the next step is to take a smudger. You can take a Q-tip as I showed you. It works just as well, just don't use your finger in this case because you want a precise smudging of the pencil. And your finger is not always so precise. It's okay to smudge with your finger, but you have to erase afterwards, so that's not really comfortable. So if you don't have a proper smudger made out of paper or wood, take a Q-tip, that works just as well. And start filling out those chunks of smoke that you made before. Fill it out if you want lightly or if you want a bit dark, but I prefer to start light because then I can darken it up afterwards. Whether if I start dark, I can really lighten it up afterwards. I have to erase and it becomes a mess, and yeah, don't do that. So just stay away from that. And wherever the smoke kind of goes on top of each other, it's going to be a bit darker there. So wherever wherever they're kind of the smoke is going behind another chunk of smoke or overlapping, that's where it's going to be a bit darker. And also on the edges of the lines, on the inside of the lines, it's going to be darker as well. So the middle part of the smoke will be a bit lighter. I think that makes some kind of sense. I hope so. And smoke it out, smoke everything out. Make it as smooth as you can. That is really key because smoke looks really smooth. It has no lines, none of those cross-hatching that some styles of drawings can require. No cross-hatching, just everything is smoked out. And use the Q-tip or whatever you're using to smudge out, um, or use the leftover of the Q-tip to smudge out. Oh, I'll show you later. But I'm repeating some of the lines to make them darker because when I smudged them, they kind of I kind of lost the lines, so I'm making some of the lines appear harsher. I think that looks more realistic. And you can make them as harsh as you want, but I'd prefer that you start less harsh and then repeat more if you want to, or some of the places, not all the lines. So what I wanted to say before is take your smudging tool and all the leftover of pencil that you have on it, you can use to make like a dispersed smoke coming out of the wing. So that it adds a nice detail and it looks more realistic like that, I think, when you make a dispersed smoke coming out of the wing. If that makes sense. I hope it does. And the bottom wing, as I said, has less lines. It just has one chunk of smoke, or two chunks if you want to call it two. And I did the same thing. I'm doing the same thing as I'm doing as I did on the first wing. I'm doing the same thing all over the butterfly. It's just that the lines are different and the way that they're arranged is different. And again, I'm taking my smudge tool and all the leftover of the smoke of the pencil that is on my tool. I am dispersing the smoke, kind of. And I'll disperse it more later because right now it looks like some spaghetti that looks really weird, but later I will disperse it even more so it's more like interconnected with each other with the rest of the smoke. And really I think that's a big key to making this drawing work because it's a difficult drawing and make individual lines first and then later you can maybe sort of see which lines you can kind of connect or kind of suggest that they're connected or something like that, because that's like I keep adding more and more lines because I just keep connecting um, different parts with each other so that in the end it's not too separated. Okay? And don't be mad at yourself if you don't connect the lines correctly because I did that and I've probably done that again now, but I did try out a couple of times before I did this drawing to make all the mistakes that I could make, or not all, but make the major mistakes that I could make and not get mad at it. Um, and really, Vicky, when you're doing your project, don't make the first drawing on your project. Make a couple of drawings beforehand, get out all the mistakes that you will make, and don't get mad at it. They will teach you. Your mistakes will teach you, and you won't be mad at your project that you ruined it or have to erase things or things like that. And try to make it also asymmetrical if you want, because I think that adds to the realism part. I think that makes it more realistic and nicer to look at in the long run. Oh, I'm so sorry. My camera died at one point, and thankfully I realized that really fast. So the only thing that I've done while it wasn't filming was those on the right side of the wing, on the top wing, I've darkened up some of the edges, and that's pretty much all I've done. Um, Everything else is the same. So practice the lines that you're gonna make. Because there's so different, there's so many different lines you can make. The diversity is infinite, and you can really play around a lot if you just relax and just play with it. Don't like you can think, of course you can think about where lines are gonna be, but just play around and have fun and make different lines, or you can also, if you want to trick the eye a little bit, you can have, if you like a certain pattern of smoke, just repeat that pattern maybe in a different angle or in a different size. Repeat that pattern flipped around. You can flip your page around and make the same pattern, but just a little bit different, a little bit more skewed. Um, if you don't want to make all these different sorts of lines, that's one of my suggestions. And I am darkening and I'm adding more lines because I think gradually, the more gradually you build it up, the better it gets, because then you don't have to erase a lot of things, um, compared to, for example, if you have everything dark in the beginning and then you have to erase and it becomes a mess. And yeah, it is not nice. I've done that before, so I wouldn't recommend it. Um, and in towards the end, I'm kind of looking at, again, as I said, which lines I can connect with each other, which lines I can kind of um, balance out what I've already made, darken up some more lines, and yeah, I hope that I'm explaining this uh, with, yeah, an understandable way. Watch it a couple of times if you don't get it, and look at some pictures online, and choose 2, 3 patterns that you like, maybe, and try to recreate those on paper. And you can make a lot of smoke coming out, dispersed coming out of the wings. You can make a lot of smoke dispersing out of the bottom wings or the middle between the wings. You can make anything you want if you have the imagination. You can make the same thing that I'm making, no problem. I don't think that my butterfly is particularly how to say, difficult. I think it's not. I think it's maybe in the middle. So it's not super easy probably, but it's also not difficult to make. And I do hope that I helped you somehow with this tutorial, even though I'm not sure how well I explained the way the lines are, because it's really random. I really made them so random that it's really tough to like put them into words. But you can make your own lines and you can make them work, I'm sure. And yeah, at the end I'm just fixing the middle part of the butterfly. Um, and I've made that look kind of like the candle smoke, the starting of the candle smoke. If like there's a candle underneath the bottom of the butterfly, then it would be like the middle part would be like the smoke of a blown candle, I think. So, and I'm trying to make a dispersed smoke right now coming out of one of the wings, but I'm not sure how that worked out, so I like do it with my fingers and yeah, smudge it out. But thanks for watching. This was a really fun video, and I hope that you learned something.